you aware of the growing threat of supply chain attacks? These attacks, which involve infiltrating a company's supply chain in order to gain access to their systems, are on the rise and can have devastating consequences for businesses. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the world of supply chain attacks and explore the various ways in which hackers can exploit a company's supply chain. We'll also discuss the potential impact of these attacks and provide tips and best practices for protecting against them. Stay tuned as we delve into the shadowy world of supply chain attacks and arm you with the knowledge. So, what exactly are supply chain attacks? At their most basic, they involve hackers infiltrating a company's supply chain, the network of organizations, people, and resources involved in the production and distribution of goods and services, in order to gain access to the company's systems. There are several ways in which hackers can carry out supply chain attacks. One common tactic is phishing attacks, in which hackers send fake emails or other communications that appear to be from legitimate sources in order to trick victims into giving away sensitive information or installing malware. Another tactic is the use of malware, which is malicious software that can be used to gain unauthorized access to a system. Hackers can introduce malware into a company's supply chain through infected software, devices, or other products. In some cases, hackers may even tamper with physical products in order to gain access to a company's systems. For example, they might plant a tiny device in a product that can be used to gain access to the company's network. As you can see, there are many different ways in which hackers can exploit a company's supply chain in order to gain access to their systems. These types of attacks can be difficult to detect and can have serious consequences for businesses. You need to keep your organization safe. So, what is the impact of supply chain attacks? These types of attacks can have serious consequences for businesses, including the loss of sensitive data, disrupted operations, and damage to reputation. For example, consider the case of the software company SolarWinds, which suffered a supply chain attack in 2020. Hackers were able to infiltrate the company's software supply chain and plant malware that was later distributed to thousands of the company's customers. The attack resulted in the loss of sensitive data and disrupted operations for many of the affected organizations. Another example is the 2017 attack on the global shipping firm Maersk, in which hackers used malware to disrupt the company's systems and cause widespread damage. The attack resulted in significant financial losses for the company and disrupted global shipping operations. These are just a few examples of the potential impact of supply chain attacks. It's clear that these attacks can have serious consequences for businesses, which is why it's so important to take steps to protect against them. So, how can you protect your organization from supply chain attacks? Here are a few tips. Perform thorough vendor risk assessments. Make sure you have a clear understanding of the security posture of your vendors and partners. This can help you identify potential vulnerabilities in your supply chain and take steps to mitigate them. Implement strong security protocols. Implement robust security protocols throughout your supply chain to reduce the risk of attacks. This could include measures such as encryption, secure authentication, and regular security updates. Monitor for suspicious activity. Regularly monitor your systems for suspicious activity and take prompt action if anything is detected. This could include monitoring for unusual login attempts, unusual traffic patterns, or other signs of potential attacks. Educate your employees. Make sure your employees are aware of the risks and are trained on how to identify and prevent supply chain attacks. This could include training on how to spot phishing attacks, how to handle suspicious emails or links, and how to follow good security practices. By following these tips, you can help protect your organization from the devastating effects of a supply chain attack. In conclusion, supply chain attacks are a growing threat that can have serious consequences for businesses. These attacks involve infiltrating a company's supply chain in order to gain access to their systems and can result in the loss of sensitive data, disrupted operations, and damage to reputation. To protect against supply chain attacks, it's important to perform thorough vendor risk assessments, implement strong security protocols, monitor for suspicious activity, and educate your employees. By following these best practices, you can help protect your organization from the devastating effects of a supply chain attack. Thank you for watching this video on supply chain attacks. We hope you found it informative and useful. Be sure to check out the resources in the video description for more information on this important topic. Are you aware of the growing threat of supply chain attacks? These attacks, which involve infiltrating a company's supply chain in order to gain